Cool. Hey.
What's up?
What's up, everybody? The first time ever I'll ever be peeing on the podcast.
Yeah.
Right now.
God damn it. You probably can't hear him from here. Anyway,
Just did a fucking...
we're doing it in the pool, underwater, naked, because...
Because there's a scorcher out, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're striking.
Yeah, and we're striking against...
We should be allowed to just stay home in the pool all day.
This pool is fucking sick. I'm not going to lie. I feel really bad for all the poor people out there who don't have sweet pools like us.
Yeah. And we don't even have to clean it ourselves.
Yeah, we have people. We have we have help that does it for us.
We pay the help because we're
Rich.
Yep.
Whoa. I just touched Carl's foot. I didn't think we were going to get a pool when we first moved here. I got to be honest.
I knew we were going to.
Take that away from your mouth because I think you're a little hot.
But I talk quietly.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I really didn't think we were going to get a pool, but here we are.
In the pool.
In the fucking pool. But yeah, so Karl and I were talking about doing a 3-part series, like a loose 3-part series. Or maybe trying to make some of our episodes branch over to one another. And I think we're going to talk a little bit more about the writer's strike, and I'm going to give you my uninformed opinion on it. The only opinions I have looked into are that of Instagram, because I feel like that's the best place to get accurate infographics to properly form an opinion on.
Do you want me to drive over there tomorrow after work and just get some first-hand accounts?
SAG? Where is it? It's in La Brea, right? Or like by the tar pits, right?
They're protesting everywhere, but a big picket line is outside of Netflix, which is a block away from the coffee shop.
Yeah, get some first-hand accounts. We could do like Karl on the streets, like Billy on the streets. You could do like a walking interview.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what do you think about the fucking shit? But one of the
people, what if you get what you want and you get your residual payments, but then you find out that nobody watches your TV show?
That's the all right, so that's what I want to read. That's the one that I actually got off Instagram that's actually kind of cool. But before I do one that I think is well informed, I want to talk about this guy Adam Conover. So this fucking guy, he's that dude from Adam Ruins Everything. Now, don't get mad at me if I'm uninformed about this guy, but he seems fucking rich, and he's like acting like he's just a background actor. The way his vernacular is very like, we are striking for this and we are striking for that, as opposed to some of the other actors that like Ryan Reynolds or whatever. He's like, yeah, we're striking, but it seems like it comes off a little bit more like, yeah, I can stop working because I'm rich, but it's for these people. This guy is like making it seem like he's the one that everyone needs to be helping, and maybe he's not that rich or some shit. But what really ticked me off was when he used the fucking strike. He's like all over social media with it, and that he's like the strike influencer right now. And he used the strike to sell tickets to his fucking stand-up tour, and it came off really gross, not gonna lie. And that's what this whole thing has been really hard for me, because a lot of the times, I'm in support of like the writers and the actors, but it's like all these like really rich actors are getting like real cunty. Like who's Better Call Saul? What's his name?
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk was like trying to lecture people on like if someone was like, hey, some people are asking for like a temporary like pass to work with the networks to promote movies that they already shot. And Bob Odenkirk was like, yeah, sorry, sometimes you have to make hard decisions. Sometimes you can't really do that. And I'm thinking, like, if I was in some movie that I thought could be like my breakout role, and then I couldn't promote it, that would suck. And then Bob Odenkirk, fucking Better Call Saul, and that movie Nobody, he has no movies coming out right now. It's just like, yeah, buddy, sorry, you just can't promote that movie in this really like condescending, like, how could you, when he doesn't have anything coming out. It just came off really fucking gross, not going to lie.
I mean, I think the perspective that you and I have, we talked about it a little bit before, is that we're not claiming to know more about it, but we said we don't know if like back home if this is as big of a deal, if it's getting like algorithmically pushed to people like it is to us since we live in Los Angeles. But the reality is that we know a few people that work in the industry on the production side of things and things like that are really like struggling, and nobody's striking for them to get more money. So they just fucking get no work for X amount of months.
I did find out that those crew members have access to, I think it's either SAGs or the Writers Guild or whatever it is, like, or maybe they have their own separate one where they have access to funds because they're out of work as well.
Maybe, but not like independent contractors that like
true, unless you're union.
Have never worked with SAG before.
True.
You know what I mean? Which is a lot of people. Like we know people that just get brought on to fucking random reality shows for like one-off shoots every now and again.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't even keep the same crew members for whole seasons of shows. They just get whoever's available because it's like, all right, well, like you know how to do production sound. It's all industry standard stuff. Equipment levels, all that. So
I saw this fucking guy. Sorry. I saw this fucking guy like bitching. Not bitching. He was fucking extremely emotional, rightfully so. He was a truck driver, and I think it's like the yellow car or yellow truck or some shit like that is the company. And they told him that they weren't going to be able to pay him his pension. And he's like really fucking pissed off. And he's like, I've been here for 30 fucking years, and you're telling me I got like. No, I get no fucking pension payments at all.
That's crazy.
And then I guess it was super heart-wrenching. Honestly, I felt for the fucking guy, and I guess they're gonna strike too. UPS, they're teetering on striking. The writers, the actors. I feel like strikes are so.
Like, if you want to get rid of pensions, then fucking don't hire people anymore on the like promise of having a pension. But people that you hired 30 years ago on that promise, you can't take that away. They wouldn't have fucking done it for 30 years otherwise.
That's why this guy was so fucking upset.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fucked up.
It makes sense to me. It should make sense to everybody.
It seems illegal.
Crazy.
It seems illegal to do that. It's like false advertising. You can't be like, yo, we're going to give you like a pension and then, just kidding.
So crazy. Because it's like the concept of people working in one career for 30 years is already pretty much dead, especially in our generation. Like, read a statistic a while ago that was said over 60% of people our age are planning on leaving their job in the next 2 years. This was, pretty much like right as COVID was ending is when I read that. And that makes like total sense to me, is that people now just want to pivot and keep moving forward. And I think part of that is that the idea of like the promotion is pretty much dead. Like companies don't really want to promote people and be like, oh, here's a bonus and here's a bigger salary and here's a little bit more responsibility. It's like a lot of it is just...
You've said this before. I think it was off mic or it might have been on the podcast. I don't know why you're saying that though. Like I'm not disagreeing with you, but like what are you basing the people don't get, like they don't want to promote from within? Like what are you getting that from? Just a hunch?
No, people's experiences. It's like you take a job. I mean, I guess it depends how incorporated your company is and how large it is. But a lot of the times they'll just hire newer, younger people to just do the jobs they need to do with that skill set, and just keep hiring new people. And they won't promote within because they can save money and not. If somebody has worked at a company for a long time and their salary has gone up by X amount at this rate for 10 years or whatever, or a couple of years or whatever, they've come to expect like, okay, like every couple of years I'm going to get this raise, I'm going to get this bonus around Christmas time, I'm going to get these days off. Okay, cool. Say you want to promote them and give them more responsibility. Then you have to increase their salary and they're going to expect the same level of benefits. Or you can hire somebody new that has the same education, maybe they're a little younger, for even less money than what they make already because they've been at the company for so long, and then save yourself a buck. I just think it's a little bit more of a trend now than it was before. I forget what my original point was that we were talking about.
My original point is I don't want anyone over here
going away.
I don't want anyone thinking that like I'm making any sort of like points like, yeah, I know what's up, because I don't want any of that kind of attention. I'm just speaking from my ignorance and my own personal emotions. Don't fucking at me about, oh, did you actually? I didn't know. I didn't know the fact that you're about to tell me, and I don't care. I'm just I'm speaking from my emotions.
We aren't here to voice any opinions. I don't know what the solution is. We're just saying.
I don't understand. I don't like that. I don't fucking like that. When people get on my case, like I think,
has anybody gotten on your case?
It's like, so I'll bitch and I'll complain, right?
Case.
But whatever. I'll bitch and complain about fucking the weather, the strike. I'll bitch and complain about some dude in the fucking grocery line. And everyone's like, God, you too. You fucking tell me, like, God, you're so fucking like pissed off all the time. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just like, I'm just bitching. And I'm not necessarily saying that like I know what's best. I'm just here to observe the shittiness of certain things. And then once I observe them, I move on from them. I'm not like, a lot of shitty things don't weigh down my day all that much. You know why? Because I bitch about them. And then I'm over it. You know?
Yeah, you're just an intense person. That's all. You just say things that you don't mean, maybe because you want to be.
But I also think people think
grandiose. You're very grandiose in your bitching. You're like, if you can't walk above 2.5 miles per hour to get your fucking cereal, then you should be chained up and kept inside.
but like I don't mean those things. I'm just
it doesn't go without saying for everybody. Maybe for me, or maybe for some other people.
I'm just vulgar. It doesn't even mean I'm that angry. Like some people are like, oh wow, he must be really angry to say that. I might not even be that angry. I just say it because I'm just naturally vulgar. I mean, you guys know how it goes. I say fuck every other word in this podcast.
Yeah. I don't have my phone. I don't know how to do the music.
Oh, that's okay.
But we can do that.
I'm gonna just read real quick.
It's a very abrupt pivot, but
I'm just gonna read real quick what Andrew Schultz, the comedian, said about the strike because I find it very interesting. And like I said, I don't know. Don't tell me your facts. This is what he said.
And even he said that this was just a personal hunch. It's not even like
just something to think about.
It's
okay.
Not a
here it comes. Thoughts on the Hollywood strikes. The real issue is that the actors and writers want fair residual payments from the streamers. Now, bear with me. I think I have dyslexia. In order to find what is the fair, streamers will need to show how many people are actually watching their show. And herein lies the problem. 2, my suspicion is that the streamers are refusing to share the viewership numbers, not because they are being cheap, but because no one is watching, and really extremely low viewership would kill the stock price. So, 3, if most of these streamers are losing money in an effort to gain market share, the only justification for their spending is their stock price being high. Once that stock price tanks with the real viewership numbers, the streamers will have to cut back on spending, which means way less shows will be greenlit. And the budget for those shows will be severely reduced, which means way less acting gigs and writing gigs. So essentially, if the actors and directors strike is successful by making the streamers release their real viewership, the strike will essentially force the streamers to hire less actors and directors. So they're striking themselves out of work. Just a hunch, though. That's Andrew Schultz. How did I do reading-wise?
You did all right. Got better as you went on. You built momentum.
So yeah, I'm not a great. We were playing a game the other day. It's called Anomia.
Well, wait, hold on. Should we touch on what you think about that, or did you just want to read it?
I just wanted to read
drop it.
I just wanted to read it and drop it. I think it's an interesting thought. It makes a lot of sense. Actually, yeah, no, I don't want to make too much of a thought about it because I think he wrapped. I find it interesting.
The important thing to take away is that it's completely hypothetical because no one really can say for certain, other than like Netflix and Disney, how many people are truly subscribed and how many people are actually watching each thing. And who knows if they'll even be held accountable to tell us. So it's really just all hypothetical. I hope to God that he's wrong, because it's really the worst case scenario is what he's saying, is that the strike works and then it's a worse result than the current result. So it's very doom and gloom, but it's still an interesting thing.
Yeah, but don't you think that maybe if, because he's talking about like productions, budgets being cut.
Yeah.
And maybe if that comes out, that those shows aren't being viewed as much, maybe Netflix and Hulu and all those streamers will go back into their old business model of more like syndication, meaning like buying shows. Like, you know how you used to go on Netflix and you're like, oh, it's great, they have all my favorite shows from like TBS and NBC and all your shows and the movies and stuff like that. They were all from other production companies, and then they were just on Netflix. Now, most of Netflix is Netflix original series. Most of Hulu is like Hulu exclusives. Most of Paramount Plus are Paramount Plus shows. And everything is just fucking so itemized. It's basically what cable used to be. Like cable.
You know what's interesting is like think about Extraction. We watched those movies recently.
That was a good fucking movie.
They were fun. They're fucking fun as shit. Especially now, like I think Barbie and Oppenheimer and the new Mission Impossible movie, like this past weekend was the 4th biggest box office weekend of all time.
Makes sense.
So
Barbenheimer was like a big.
It's an interesting case study to think about. Okay, if there is genuine excitement for movies for whatever the reason may be, I guess I think that a movie like Extraction, albeit just another run-of-the-mill action movie, probably would have made a production studio a lot more money going to theaters than just putting it on Netflix.
Yeah.
And investing in it. You know what I mean?
I think that the Andrew Schultz thing is important or interesting because like the way that Netflix makes money is so abstract. Like I know obviously it's you pay for the subscription, but like they're pumping like hundreds of millions of dollars into these shows. And when was the last time you scrolled through Netflix? You don't know what fucking 60% of those shows are.
Oh, it's so crazy.
And you're like, what the fuck is this? Who is this person? What is this fucking series? And you're like, there's 9 fucking seasons of this? And there's so many shows like that. It just doesn't make sense that those shows are somehow like legitimately profitable. And how would you track that? How would like Netflix track the ROI on a show? Like we put American Barbecue Showdown on Netflix and it increased your membership? Like that was the idea before, I think. Like, if we buy up, like, is Game of Thrones HBO?
Yes.
But I think it used to be on Netflix.
No, never.
Never?
Mm-mm.
Like not even
no.
HBO Max existing?
No. It would be on HBO Go, or it would only run before that.
No, dude, it definitely had to be on Netflix because my dad doesn't have any of that shit, and he watched it.
He probably watched. I don't think Game of Thrones was ever on anything.
I'm talking early Netflix.
I don't think it was.
All right, let's take Game of Thrones out of the question. Pick a fucking show, whatever. The idea was like, if you buy up people's favorite shows and syndicate them on your streaming platform, people would have to buy your streaming platform to watch their favorite show. But now, like, everyone's got all of the fucking streaming services, or at least you're mooching off your friend. So they're putting out a new show every other week. It'd be really hard to track, like, why someone might buy a membership for that. You know what I'm saying? It's confusing.
Yeah, no, you'd have to just do a Spotify thing and make a streaming viewership equivalent, or like a streaming movie ticket equivalent, and it'd be like, every 500 streams of this movie equals 1 movie ticket's worth of revenue. And I'll tell you what, if that's actually the case, they're not gonna fucking make any more Netflix movies, bro. They're not gonna pay for fucking Chris Hemsworth to star in a Netflix movie if it doesn't even make.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, I saw some meme. It was like, let me show you what actors' residuals look like. And it was like 13 cents, 15 cents. And I don't know who this person was who was like showing me their residuals. They could have been on like fucking Game of Thrones that had millions of like views or whatever. I don't know who it was. But part of me is thinking that their actors and writers are getting paid whatever they're getting paid. I'm afraid it's going to like turn into the same thing that musicians have been bitching about, where they're like, yo, where like you get millions of streams and it just like equals this amount. Like it's like 300 Spotify plays to make like 1 penny or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like once the numbers come out for these actors, they're gonna be like, okay, well these are the numbers and this is what you get paid now. And like you know what I mean? It's like if it's not there, I guess that is what Andrew Schultz is saying. I'm getting hot, bro. I gotta dunk in.
All right. Well,
let's do our music things because
Yeah,
we're gonna run out of time here. All right, so you don't have your phone, but I'll do my music for the week. This week on fucking the Nobody Loves You podcast, David is going to suggest you a song called "Sad Disco" by Flip Turn. Flip Turn, I believe, is out of Miami. Not positive. Let me see. Flip Turn, indie music, Florida. Yeah, Florida. Great song, great cool band. Not too many monthly listeners. Still like, oh, just kidding. They have 1 million monthly listeners. Never mind. They were like kind of underground when I first found them, I guess. Another one. Ooh, do you remember a couple weeks ago when we were doing the podcast and I was like, yo, it sounds like they got like the Daft Punk thing and I couldn't remember what the fuck the song was. It's called Pink Ocean by The Voids.
okay.
And I don't know, it's a cool song.
Oh yeah, we listened to this a while ago.
Yeah, but like they have some fucking Daft Punk shit on the top of their page. I don't know who these people are. Do you know who these people are? You love Daft Punk.
Well, I didn't know they had this because this just got released. But I remember this song, Pink Ocean, and I guess the other one on that album, Leave It in My Dreams. I remember specifically, we got done at the roastery one day. I put one of these songs on because it was just on my like suggested shit. And you were like, "What is this?" And we both liked it the same day. And then we texted Justine. She's like, "Yeah, I've been listening to them for years." This
Classic
is one of those
Justine.
fucking instances where Justine just knows all of our music already.
So this song is like, how would you
Yeah.
describe this? It's, like a little more electronic indie rock, and then sad disco is exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like a sad disco. It's like indie rock or whatever. And then let me give you one more. This person's already pretty big, but it's a fucking slapper of a song. It's called Pin It Down by Madison Cunningham. My girl Madison Cunningham. She's fucking great. She's very talented. She's not my girl like I know her. She's like my girl like I'm a fan. Pin It Down, super cool, really groovy, really interesting. Don't hear many people making music like Madison Cunningham. Very unique, which I appreciate.
I'm just gonna throw it back to somebody off the top of my fucking head. This fucking guy, Nate Mercereau. I don't know.
Oh, this
That
guy.
he's a jazz guitarist and composer, and he's fucking rad.
Is
He's
this that
just
fucking song with like the side chain fucking?
Yeah, he does like
Dude.
hard fucking insane rock jazz stuff. He's got this
Sick.
song called There You Are that whoever mastered it must have gone deaf about a year before they started mastering his songs, but they fucking this song is mixed and mastered so loud and it's just slamming so hard that like things are starting to get masked and it's so distorted and insane, but
but it's sick.
has some of the fucking craziest drums on it ever. But yeah, the song's called There You Are by Nate Mercereau, and it's he's I don't know, Terrace Martin's on the album a little bit later. It's fucking just a sick instrumental jazz record if that's what you're into.
Yeah.
And it's hard as fuck. So
All right.
it's cool.
I think we got to do another episode of this because I'm not gonna be here next week. Because guess what I'm doing, Carl? Can you tell the people what I'm doing?
David's going to rehab. He's going to
Yeah.
a spiritual retreat.
I'm going to.
He's trying to quit porn.
Have you seen those fucking? Have you seen those retreats where people like go? They wear like things over their eyes for like 4 days, like a darkness retreat.
I've seen guys do that on their own, but I haven't seen it.
It's
retreat.
like it's like this person like
cool,
emerging
though.
from a darkness retreat for 4 days, and one was like it's like 9-year-old boy emerges from a darkness retreat. I was like, God, I can't. I think I would fucking hate it. Could you imagine being a kid and your parents are like, all right, like put the video games down, Say goodbye to your friends. We're going to the fucking woods for 4 days to fucking blindfold ourselves and meditate.
As a kid,
As a 9-year-old.
As a kid, I think that's probably traumatizing.
Yeah, I know.
I
That's
don't
what
think
I thought.
it's not even like I think I would hate that.
Child
I think
abuse.
it would actually fuck my shit up.
I think it
Dude,
would
that's
too.
fucked. You shouldn't force a 9-year-old to do that.
Don't do it. All right, goodbye.